I want to know in the chat how many people we got in the chat. We got 7 people. We probably got 4 people talking. How many of you guys own Pro Q2 or Pro Q3? I reckon it's got to be
Yeah,
at
it's
least
interesting.
50%. It's one of the best plugins I've ever seen. Um, what to talk about with it? Like,
It's oh man, it's just like if you need the EQ, if you need the EQ to do a job, this is the one. This is my go-to every single time.
yeah,
Without a doubt,
yeah,
you can pretty much add like unlimited bands.
mm,
Um, you you can obviously do mid-side. You can just do regular stereo
yeah. You can do left.
EQing.
You can EQ the left and the right separately of each other. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, you can.
And then there's like the frequency. What is it? The EQ matching.
Oh,
That's where it
that's
starts to get really
insane.
fucking crazy, man.
So anyone who doesn't know what the EQ matching is you can sidechain another sound source to into the plugin and play it at the same time as you're playing the audio that you're doing, and it will change the EQ of your source audio to match your sidechained audio, which if you're like it doesn't work so well for things like vocals and stuff because they're a little bit too similar, but like guitar tones, if you have a distorted guitar tone that has a really cool sound to it, and then you want your guitar to sound like that, and you manage to get it sounding like, as long as they're not too dissimilar, if you put that plugin on there, you can get them like really close to each other.
Yeah, super close.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I found, especially for like if you've started a song on a microphone, but you weren't able to finish that song on that microphone, you can finish it on a different mic, and then you can just EQ match it to
Oh,
the other
really?
microphone.
And it sounds pretty
I've
good.
tried that, and it doesn't. It does. Yeah, it works pretty well.
Fuck.
I think I tried with something crazy, like it was some like good condenser,
Yeah.
and then I like tried to EQ match of like a 58 to a condenser mic,
Yeah.
and it did a pretty good job.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So just like stuff like that, where you need like, oh, you need to like achieve something that's like it's going to be a pain.
Yeah.
That this can just like kind of smash it out for you. Even like doing like a reference, like it doesn't really work that well with referencing. I've noticed.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if you've got like your song that's mixed and you want it to sound like another song, and
Oh.
then you run an EQ match on it, it goes crazy. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't know what to do because there's too much going on.
Yeah.
But for single source stuff, it's very good, like guitars and vocals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty insane. Not like my favorite thing
So
about the
good.
plugin, hands down, is the spectrum analyzer. Like,
It's amazing. I've got it on my master bus
oh,
always,
same.
always. Even if it's not actually EQing anything, it's just strictly for the audio analyzer,
Yeah.
frequency analyzer. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
fucking good.
anyone who's seen me make a beat, like the last thing I usually do before I finish up is like check that and make sure everything's looking good. There's no like messed up shit that's um, poking out anywhere, and it's kind of yeah, it's definitely definitely good for for just checking audio. The spectrum analyzer, it's so accurate as well, which is
Yeah, it's
insane.
amazing.
Rent all the
Absolutely
super
amazing.
expensive mics, then just use a 58 and EQ match everything for the rest of your life. I don't know if that's how it works, but I appreciate that. Um, I mean, it's worth giving it a go.
Oh, here's a cool trick I did with this plugin.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to know what I did this for like the little like tiny mountain videos that we were doing.
Hmm.
You know how we're just like doing jams and we're just throwing them up on Facey and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
You remember those? Yeah.
Yep.
When we're at the Marshall Street Studios. And I used this because I was like, I really want to emulate an iPhone speaker because I want to know what my mixes are kind of going to sound like on phones
Yeah.
because that's where most people are going to watch it. So what I did is I just used my Neumann mic as a reference mic,
Mm-hmm.
played some pink noise at full frequency on my monitors, my Atom monitors, recorded that, and then I did the exact same thing on my phone, brought up the same video or whatever with pink noise,
Yeah.
recorded that with my Neumann mic, same distance with my phone, and then EQ matched it to
Insane.
my monitors. So
Yeah.
that way I could actually like I would have the same frequency response
As what
on
you'd be hearing
my
from.
speakers as what I'm hearing on my phone. So then I could turn that on and then mix a track to see what it would roughly sound like on phone speakers or my phone
How did it
speakers.
sound? Like, did it sound like it was
Yeah, it
coming
worked
out of
really
a
well.
phone?
I learned that you've got to overcompress things a lot
Yeah.
for phones to sound like punchy.
Yeah.
And I used a lot of like like max bass
Yeah.
stuff like that, where like you use certain like harmonizers to kind of kick everything up an octave, especially like a lot with low end.
Yeah.
If it's sitting around like the 100 hertz, phones can't produce anything like that. They're getting better, but yeah, if you can bring it up into like the 300 range,
Hmm.
and maybe it's even a little bit more, yeah, you can kind of get like that kick drum happening in your phone,
Yeah.
which is like really interesting.
Yeah. Oh man.
Obviously, the driver size and stuff is completely different, so it won't be exactly the same. It won't sound exactly the same, but
Yeah, they
it's
use a
pretty
lot of
close.
a
Good
lot of
enough to, yeah.
there's a lot of software trickery in phones to try and get the low end kind of audible, and knowing what they do with it is kind of half the trick to getting shit, to getting your stuff actually coming through. Like I think they do use a lot of those kind of, yeah, boosters and stuff to try and get the kick audible. But man, phones are always impossible to get the sound of.
Yeah.
But
I know that there's an app on iPhones. I don't have an iPhone, so I can't use it sadly. I know Dave Pensato talks about it
I know the one you're
on
talking
his
about.
channel,
Mm,
where there's like a plugin that links via Bluetooth to your phone, and you can send your mix bus out to your phone, so you
that's
can actually hear exactly what it's going to sound like on your phone, which is really cool.
that is a
But I'm
cool
like,
plugin.
yeah, I'm like, too bad it's only Apple.
Yeah. One thing, this isn't really plugin related, and this is kind of a talk for another time. But I always, well, I've just started doing this more recently. As check my mixes through my laptop speakers before I bounce anything out.
Hmm.
And I think like in a similar way, it's not quite phone speakers, but you still kind of get an idea of how it's sounding through a really crappy set of speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good stuff.
All
So
right.
that's Pro Q2.
Yeah.
Pro
Expensive.
expensive, two hundred and
Cost me like, yeah.
seventy
Cost me like,
dollars, I think.
yeah, something like that.
250, I
But if
think.
anyone's like, I just want a good EQ, this is the one I
Oh,
would say every time.
every time. If I could only have one EQ,
Yeah. And
if
we've
I
got
could
the
only
old
have
one.
one plugin on my computer, it would be this
Yeah.
plugin.
Shit,
Hands
yeah.
down. Hands down.
Cool.